Late last night, I got a call. I didn't catch their name, but they said in 24 hours they're gonna steal my camera bag and expose me for using Nikon gear. I wasn't about to let that happen, so I broke my phone in half so they couldn't trace the call. Well, tried. Again and again. Eventually I just got angry, went to my bathroom and threw it in the toilet. Good luck tracing that call. Afterwards, I put on my pajamas, my favorite slippers, and took the only logical next steps. I made some popcorn, grabbed a LaCroix, and started watching National Treasure. You know, the movie with Nicolas Cage. Then I fell asleep and forgot about the whole thing. The next thing I know, I'm waking up to the sound of an alarm clock. I reached for the gun under my pillow and shot it. Then I remembered that I need to hear the message, so I waited 10 minutes for it to go off again, recorded that message, and played it backwards to decode a secret message. That led me back to the bathroom. I took the canvas off the wall and inside was a key and a flashlight. I took that key and used it to unlock the desktop computer I keep under my bed. Then I used the flashlight to look around till I found a slip of paper. I took that paper and soaked it in lemon juice. You know, like in the movie, National Treasure. Then I added heat and waited. After the slip of paper had cooked, it revealed a combination code. I took that combination code and unlocked a husky tool chest I keep in my garage. Inside that tool chest was a note. That note was a decoy. I set it aside and found the real note. I looked up, way up, and on the top shelf was my camera bag. I will now show you what's in that bag to prove to you that I don't use Nikon gear. Hey, what's up everyone? My name's Josh Winiarski, and I'm a photographer, filmmaker, vlogger. I've also got one live stream under my belt here on YouTube as well as Instagram. And it's the end of the year. It's the end of an era, and I want to start the new year off right with a what's in my camera bag video. Now, I like making these types of videos. I want to do one every year. They're fun to make, they're fun to watch. It's like when you've leveled up in a video game and you've got all this loot and you take it to a blacksmith and he crafts you some crazy awesome weapon, and you take that weapon, that new piece of gear, and you're gonna go like slay a dragon or... Okay, I'm losing you. But I've made a lot of progress this year personally. I've taken a lot of photos, made a lot of videos, I've acquired new gear, found new ways to use it, and I think it'd just be fun to recap what I've used, what I've taken and captured with that gear. I think it'll just be a good time. Plus, these types of videos, if made properly, can be a really good learning opportunity as well. Seeing what other photographers and videographers carry might give you some new ideas on gear you want to pick up, or just hearing why they carry it can help you learn about photography and videography as well. Now, I've kept a lot of things the same with my kit since 2019, but I've also made some significant upgrades, so here's what I'm starting 2020 with. Let's get into it. So, first things first, I'm still rocking the same old bag. Now, this is just a USA Gear camera bag. It goes on Amazon for around $50 or $60. It's taken some wear and tear over the past year and a half I've been using it, but I love the thing. What's really cool about this bag in particular is the bottom 2/3 or so is dedicated solely to camera gear, but the top third opens up. It's just an open compartment. You can stuff whatever you want in there. On top of that, it's got this sweet side pocket and strap, great for putting my travel tripod on, or I can just attach a water bottle there if I want. Now, on the back, it's got a laptop sleeve. It says it houses a 15.6-inch laptop, and it definitely does. What I mean by that is I have a pretty beefy laptop. It's a gaming laptop. It's got like a graphics card in there and stuff like that. It's a powerhouse for using After Effects, Premiere Pro, Lightroom, all that jazz, but it's a little big. This camera bag can hold it no problem. It feels nice and padded. It's awesome. Now back to this side pouch. Inside, I keep a Rangers Pro travel tripod. It's awesome. It folds up nice and compact, has a ball head, has a level. It even has a pretty smooth panning feature. It's not as good as a video tripod, but I've actually used it for a lot of videos, and I don't think people can tell the difference. Now, what's nice is it fits on the side of the camera bag, and it's essentially a full-size tripod. Now, because it's a travel tripod, it folds up to about 14 inches, which is relatively compact, but if I want to unfold it, flip out the legs with the awesome flip locks. Not a fan of the twist locks. This one flips, they're quick and easy. It folds out to a full-size tripod, and it's just insane for photography. On top of that, it's got the quick to adjust ball head, a hook on the bottom so you can attach your camera bag weigh it down, that tripod's not gonna topple over in the wind. And the cherry on top is it's got quick release plates, so I leave that on my camera, I can slap it on my tripod, pop it off real quick. Super easy, super convenient, never have to worry about missing the shots because my gear's slowing me down. It's cheap, it's affordable, I love the thing. But now let's get into the meat of this bag. So opening up the main compartment, for the most part, I stuff this thing to the brim. Inside, I've got a Canon T6 with a Sigma 17-50 2.8 lens on it. But this is just a placeholder because I'm recording on my Canon 80D right now. This is normally what I'd have in my bag, this camera right here. If you buy a T6 and you think your videos are gonna look like mine, they're probably not. I do not normally carry a T6. I used to, I don't anymore. I use a Canon 80D, but I still use this lens on it because it's a beast. But again, this is just a placeholder. Now you might be wondering, Josh, why are you still using the Canon 80D? The 90D just came out. Well, I've actually got a whole video on that. I'll put a card somewhere here. I really think it's here. So if you really want me to deep dive onto why I'm still using this camera, there's a whole dedicated video on it. Check that out if you want the juicy details. But in short, this camera can do everything I want. I've used it for short films, I use it for vlogging, I shot my first wedding on it earlier this year. Aside from the newly released 90D, this is the best crop sensor camera Canon makes, and I love it. I'm a huge advocate of the phrase, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. And my 80D, although it was broken at one point, works flawlessly right now. It does everything I absolutely need, and I still don't feel like the camera's holding me back as much as myself. My abilities to tell stories, to capture things, I think I can progress on that a lot more before I really need to upgrade cameras. What was a big upgrade I made this year though, was acquiring this Sigma 17-50 2.8 lens. Within the past couple of months, this became my go-to walk around, do everything lens. It's my Leatherman, my Swiss Army knife. If I don't know what I'm gonna be shooting, or even if I do, this can pretty much handle any type of shooting except for extremely long range. It has the versatility of a kit lens, getting as wide as 17mm, but can also isolate subjects like a portrait lens, getting as long as 50mm. I spent a lot of 2018 and a little bit of 2019 carrying a bunch of prime lenses, but then I realized I hated switching lenses. I often missed shots trying to switch lenses, so I invested in this guy. This is like my new love. With that 2.8 aperture, I can use it for portraits in a pinch, I can use it for landscapes, it's super versatile, and the cherry on top is it's image stabilized for video. If you shoot on a crop sensor camera, I cannot recommend this lens enough. It is my favorite lens for APS-C size sensors. Up next, the Canon 18-55. Yeah, I still carry this thing. Now, in a lot of ways, this is just inferior to the lens I showed you, the Sigma 17-50. This is an 18-55. You lose a millimeter on the wide end, gained 5 on the telephoto end. It's less sharp, it has a slower aperture, but I still like carrying it. And the reason for that is it's smaller, it's lightweight, and I just enjoy using it a lot more for vlogging. As much as I could use the workout, I hate carrying a 17-50 way out in front of me, just essentially on a stick. And the one drawback to that Sigma lens is it has a louder focusing motor. This is an STM motor, meaning it's silent, so I'm not gonna catch any motor pulling noise when shooting a vlog. When I'm vlogging, I normally shoot at the widest focal length possible, so 18mm versus 17mm, not a big difference, and f3.5 versus f2.8, I could care less about that tiny bit blurrier of a background. On top of that, this lens is like a third the price. Vlogging is risky. If I have to choose a lens to risk, I'm gonna choose this one. It just makes more sense. Whew, alright, we gotta pick it up. What's next? Bam. Up next, we've got the Canon 50mm f1.8, otherwise known as the Nifty 50. Now, if you don't know what the Nifty 50 is, just Google it, watch some videos. They could be my videos, they could be someone else's videos. I could care less. But if you don't know what this lens is, definitely check it out. It's called the Nifty 50 for a reason. It's cheap, it's lightweight, but it has a 1.8 aperture, incredible for portraits, for low light shooting. I'm not gonna say too much on it, but it's a great lens. Alright, 2 more lenses. Up next, we've got the Canon 55 to 250mm STM. And in all honesty, I considered upgrading this lens this year, and then I didn't. Now, the other lens I was looking at was the 70 to 200 f4. It's an L lens, significantly sharper, a little bit faster, but then I decided against it. While I liked the image quality better, it was an expensive investment and I can't fit it in my bag very well at all. So with the 55 to 250mm, it extends out and back in. When it's in like this, it drops into the camera bag. The 70 to 200 is closer to this length, so I could never put it in my camera bag like this, so I'd have to put it the long way, which takes up an entire row. So sure, it would have been better image quality, I might have looked more professional, but knowing myself, I probably wouldn't have even used it very much. I would have hesitated to put it in my bag all the time. So instead of grabbing that for a little bit of an upgrade, I just rent it if I need it, because I really don't use telephoto lenses all that often. Last but not least, we've got the Rokinon 14mm 2.8. Check out this big lens hood and then this beefy piece of glass. Now, if you don't know what this is, I think it technically is a cinema lens. It's made by a company called Rokinon or Samyang, depending on which country you live in, and it doesn't even autofocus. If you make YouTube content, you probably wouldn't use this much for video, but if you're into photography, like landscape photography, like landscape astrophotography, then definitely check this guy out. I bought it last summer before I went on like a 2-week road trip. I went to places like Bryce Canyon, Arches National Park. I shot probably my best Milky Way images with this lens. Again, it doesn't autofocus, so you have to manually focus yourself on stars way out in the distance. But because it's 14mm, goes down to f2.8, it is super wide, super good for low light. I pretty much bought the lens solely for that trip. Obviously, I'm gonna keep using it for a while, but for an APS-C sensor or even a full frame sensor, this is definitely a good investment if you want to get into astrophotography for relatively cheap. All right, we're making progress. So other stuff I'm carrying, an intervalometer, you know what it is. If you don't, I talked about it in my last video. Check that out. That was just a cleaning kit, pretty self-explanatory. And then I've got 2 neutral density filters. At heart, I'll always be a landscape photographer. This one is a Tiffen 3-stop filter. This one is a Gobe 10-stop filter. I use the 3-stop one to get a shallow depth of field when I'm shooting outside for video, and I use the 10-stop one if I just want a super long exposure for photography. I also keep a cleaning cloth in this one, just always nice to have if I need to wipe down lenses, or since I use this for shooting waterfalls so much, a lot of the time I'll get water droplets on my lens filter, so this is really handy for wiping those off and getting rid of smudges or little water bokeh balls from water being on the lens. Okay, and the last thing in the main pouch is another pouch. Now there's not much in here right now, but this is a pouch that comes with an Apurture M9 Light. Now, what the heck is an Apurture M9 Light? Well, once again I'd show you, but I'm using it to film right now. What it is it's a small LED light powered by micro USB. It's about the size of a deck of cards, and it saved me on photo shoots, video shoots. It's the most handy light that you always want to have on you. I was definitely skeptical when I first bought it. I was like, wow, this is a tiny light. It's kind of expensive, because yeah, if you look at the price, it's $45 for this very small light. But if you're willing to make the investment, I can promise you it will pay off. With the light, you get 3 of these gels. One I think is like a frost gel / diffusion gel, and then you get a warm gel and this cool gel. On top of that, it has like a little mount so you can screw it into a tripod or slip it into a hot or cold shoe. But this thing is just so convenient. And here's what I mean. So right now I'm home from college. I don't have all my camera equipment, so I'm actually using this as one of 2 lights in my setup right now. If I didn't have this little light, which I just threw in my camera bag, all my footage would look like this. Not nearly quite as appealing. It's got 9 little LEDs built in. They're spaced decently. The light doesn't have perfect diffusion, but it's not awful. But considering it fits in this little pouch, super easy to just toss in your bag. It's really a nice case. It's expensive, but just think of any time you've wanted to use your phone light for something. Instead, you use this, your shots look way better. It is expensive, but having a light that can essentially function as a key light. It is not a key light, but in a pinch like I am now, it functions as one. You can use it for photography, for video. You can always carry it on you. You can change the temperature with the gels. It seems ridiculously priced, but I feel like I've got my money's worth. I'm honestly considering buying another one. Okay, and that's everything for the main pouch. I've got this tiny flap up here. I just keep an extra 128 gig SD card in there. It's usually empty. Always good to just have an extra SD card on you. I can't tell you how many times when I was starting out in photography, I would leave an SD card in a computer or forget to clear it. I always just keep that in my bag. I forget it's there, and then when I need it, it's just so handy. Okay, and then on this flap, I've got 3 extra Canon LPE6 batteries. You'll notice they're labeled 2, 3, 4. Right now, number 1 is in my camera. When 1 runs out, I put in 2. When 2 runs out, I put in 3. If you label your batteries and you use them in sequential order, you'll always know which ones are charged and which ones are dead. It just makes so much sense. Oh, I actually forgot I even had this pouch. Inside here, I've got 2 more little cleaning cloths, pack of hand warmers. It's January right now. Never know when you'll need one of these. And then I've got this portable charger. It is, it's 12,000 milliamp hours. It's about the size of my phone. Where's my phone? So about the size of my phone. It has 2 USB ports, so I can charge 2 things at once. Also, if you double tap this button, it's got a little flashlight built in. Super nice feature. I can use it to juice up my phone. I can use it to juice up my Apurture M9 Light. Always good to just keep in the bag. I actually have no idea what's in here. Oh, hey, look at that. So again, there's like a little corner pouch here. Inside, I've got a plastic bag. Always carry plastic bags on me. If you don't remember last year, I lost my camera to water damage, had to send it in for repairs, so now I always keep these on me. I guess I've also got Kleenex in there, you know. If it's cold outside, I'm shooting in the snow, or I go swimming in a freezing cold lake, might catch a cold, or, you know, I just don't want to be snotting all over the place. I don't know, I just always keep Kleenex on me, like, it's a hygiene thing. Again, the back is a laptop sleeve where I'd keep my laptop if I'm traveling. Also, I've got a carabiner up top. If I do fill up this bag and I'm going hiking, I usually just use it to attach a water bottle to the outside. It flops around a little bit, but it's just like that guaranteed extra storage space. Ah, shoot, I have more up here than I thought. So up top is somewhere where I'd throw a shotgun microphone. This is the Rode VideoMic Go. I don't like it as much as the Rode VideoMicro, but my Rode VideoMicro is recording my voice right now. So again, just another placeholder. But the Rode VideoMicro, $60. It has good sound quality. You don't have to worry about batteries. It's very small, can just go right on top of your camera. Go-to shotgun microphone. Awesome. I've got the Manfrotto PIXI mini tripod. Yes! This thing is insane. Again, it's small, compact, super quick to adjust, super quick to set up. I think last year I had a GorillaPod in my bag instead of this. This replaced my GorillaPod. I like it so much more. It's cheaper, it feels built better. I think my days of using a GorillaPod are over. I don't know if you're noticing a theme here, but I'm all about that high speed, low weight, low drag. I do vlogs, I do a lot of hiking and adventuring. I cannot have my gear slowing me down. Like seriously, check this out, I'll just do it right now. Tripod, camera. Screwed in, legs out. If I need to adjust it, ball head just adjusts. Holds the position. This is how you just make dope stuff. Now, there are a couple drawbacks compared to the GorillaPod. I'm not gonna be super biased. The GorillaPod can turn the camera sideways, so if you're shooting for Instagram, this isn't really gonna work. And on top of that, obviously the GorillaPod can wrap around things, can set up a little bit better on uneven surfaces. But what I found in all the things I do is I never end up using those features. As my cameras have gotten more expensive, as my lenses have gotten more expensive, the last thing I want to do is trust a bendy plastic and rubber tripod to support all my gear just to get a kind of unique shot from a tree. I'm not willing to take that risk, so I don't even really use it anymore. Also in this bag is this stretchy rain cover, goes over the outside of the bag and just protects it from the elements. Also a garbage bag with a hole in it. Put my lens through there, wrap it around my camera, protects it from the rain, from snow. I always want to keep that on me. And then I've got one last little pouch up here. This is where I just keep miscellaneous accessories, little things I think I might need one day. Got things like a charging cable, cold shoe tripod mount, 2 extra lens caps, little Allen key tools, roll of electrical tape, 2 AAA batteries, 2 AA batteries, and I actually added this a few days ago. It looks super gimmicky, but it's actually kind of cool. So as you saw, it's kind of just your standard gimmicky keychain light. Ooh, look at those flares. But it's made with 2 gear ties attached. So you could wrap it around something like a tripod. You can use it to hold cables together. And it actually comes completely apart. So here's the light. And then you've got 2 gear ties. If you don't know what they are, they're essentially 6-inch long, really strong, durable twisty ties. You can just be creative with them. Something you might need at some point. And the last thing I've got is my Leatherman pocket knife. This is actually super old. I got it in probably 5th grade from my dad when I was in Cub Scouts. I used to not carry it on me very much, but it's actually came in handy a lot in the past 6 months or so, so I started tossing it in my bag. You've got your pliers, your knife, your scissors, all that, but what I actually find super useful is the screwdrivers. Phillips, flathead, whatever. If you're taking apart plates, if you're taking apart pieces of gear, it's just super, super handy to have on you. Whew, and I think that about covers it. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. I really did try to go through things quickly, but there's just so much to cover. Kind of forget how much I have in my bag until I start going through it. I'd love to talk about each piece of kit for a few minutes on end, but nobody's got time for that. Anyways, this is what I'm starting the new year 2020 with, and I'm absolutely stoked on it. That was honestly pretty fun going through everything I've used over the past couple of years, kind of reminiscing on the photos and videos I've taken and made with it. Now, obviously this does fluctuate a little bit depending on what I'm doing, but if someone walked up to me and said, Josh, you have 10 minutes, you're going on a trip, you're gonna be doing photo, you're gonna be doing video, you need to pack your bag, prepare for everything, this is pretty much what I'd carry. Anyways, that's it for me. Hope everyone's as stoked for 2020 as I am, and as always, if you liked the video, be sure to like it. If you have any questions, have any comments, hit up that comment section down below, and if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks again for watching. My name's Josh Winiarski. Check me out on Instagram. And question of the day, what's your favorite piece of gear you carry? Could be a light, could be a lens, could be your camera itself. Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.